Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah. Last time, Ilbert summoned some monstrosity. Papalymo sacrificed himself to stop it for now, and we decided, on the advice of Nero, of all people, to awaken Omega to fight that thing. Okay. Let's see how that turns out. This contraption truly bears for the skies. Kosetsu is an accomplished swordsman. Should it come to battle, he will prove a staunch ally. Would that I could say the same of Nero. Soon, Omega. Soon, I will see you rise again. And apparently we will have to fight because he has this golden glow. We haven't far to go. With any luck we'll be in Cartano before Kosetsu graces the deck with his dinner. Once there, however, we had best be on our guard. Given that Elaine Royal was still active when Omega was discovered, we can be sure that the Empire has long been aware of its existence. And if Nero deemed it the obvious solution to the threat posed by this new primal, it's not impossible that Garlemald might do the same. Have your weapons ready and your wits about you. Something tells me we're flying into a fight.
Now, where was that? Ah! I've enabled the teleporter. One brief jump and we shall arrive in Omega's control room.
How convenient. You've been here before.
Right, we have seen him here in the cutscene.
Of course. It was no easy task threading a path through all the skirmishes. But how could I ignore the existence of such a fascinating toy? You may trust that my preliminary examination was suitably thorough.
Trust? Aye. I trust your appetite for technology.
I chased down a suspect airship, and who should I find but the traitor, Sid Garland. Searching for something, engineer? Something big? It's close, isn't it?
I like these helms.
It's like all my name days have come at once.
Of all the scouts the Empire could have sent. Take care of that brute, will you?
God damn it. Can't let Nero tinker around in there by himself. I'm sorry to leave you to it, but I dare say you'll manage without me. This clod has no idea who he's dealing with.
I am Kosetsu, Samurai of Doma. You will rue your choice of opponent this day.
I believe you. Kind of like the hammer Nero wielded in the Praetorium. I'll stomp these swarms into dust myself. This is my fight, understand? Stay out of it.
opening.
With soul and steel.
No holding back.
I may have misjudged the enemy. I should have been staining my souls by now. What are you fools scoffing at? Don't just stand where your captain is in danger.
Leave this to me.
Oh, calling for reinforcements, are we?
I have you.
You watching, Cavallero? Your defense is lacking.
'Tis my right to strike.
For every yapping cur I strike down, another takes its place.
This one'll sting.
How many soldiers did he bring with him? We will stand against this tide. Surrender. We have you outnumbered. Wouldn't be the first time. Are you still playing with those soldiers? I suppose I can lend you one of my toys, but only if you promise to give it back. Magic armor! Behold, the Red Baron. Now end this nonsense. What the? No one told me we'd have Magitech armor. Forward! For the Empire! The honorless cur thinks to abandon his men. I shall see that he shares their fate. Pray attend to the rest of his minions.
You watching, Cavallero? An opening.
Tis my right to strike.
Oh, watch out for the big one!
It's all over now.
Ah, you felt the Titan, but that still only counts as one.
Your defense is lacking.
I have you.
How many soldiers did he bring, really?
This one'll sting. Leave this to me.
Look upon a samurai of Doma.
No holding back. No retreat. No surrender.
We call off the scrap and the cat hits us as often as the enemy. Enough! Time for a tactical withdrawal. Hey! You can't run off! Deserting a battle is punishable by death. I order you to stand your ground. Come back here now. Please? Damn it all to the seven hells. I kill the bastard if it's the last thing I do.
And opening.
Make the strike!
It's all over now. Your defense is nothing.
Come on.
I have you!
Die, die, die!
This one'll sting.
You haven't seen the last of me. Mark my words, it will be you who rules the day. Don't let him escape! I guess we have better things to do.
Temporal stasis disengaged. All systems operational. Garland?
All clear on this side. It's waking up.
Remarkable. Omega sensors immediately detected the presence of the cocoon, even at this distance. They must have been set to scan for sources of energy exceeding certain magnitudes.
I still don't see any means to control the machine directly. It seems to have been designed to act wholly autonomously.
Given that it was supposed to fight against a being that's capable of mind control, the tempering, I mean, that makes a lot of sense to make it autonomous.
Once we release Omega, we can be fairly certain it will attempt to capture the Primal at Belsar's Wall. Assuming its mission is successful, our only option at that point will be to re-engage its stasis system and put it back to sleep.
And should the machine happen to misbehave, we'll simply initiate an emergency shutdown. I confess we don't yet have a complete grasp of its capabilities, but I'm certain the details will not elude us for long.
Well, I understood less than half of that. So, my question to you is, are we doing the right thing?
Is there any other way?
I suppose not.
Yeah. That's where we're currently standing, huh?
All right. Step aside, Sid. Is this the thing I need to press?
Yes, that's the one.
You gave too much for us to waste this chance, Papalimo. So this is for you. And me.
Yes! Fly free, my pretty! Show us what you can do.
The launch sequence has begun. Omega is loose.
I hope we don't regret this. That thing looks super creepy.
Huh? Omega has stopped transmitting. But that shouldn't be. I didn't engage the stasis system.
And what does this signify? I have little understanding of these contrivances.
The launch went exactly to plan, but all signals emanating from Omega have ceased. This may indicate any number of things, but we will need to join the Scions out in the field if we are to ascertain which one.
So you have no idea either. Good.
Right. I've ordered a malfunctioning beast to go to sleep. That should prevent any unfortunate mishaps. I suggest we make our way back to Gridania.
Omega destroyed the cocoon.
Now your tattoo is gone?
Papalymo's spell is fading. It was bound to his ether, you see. And if the connection is broken...
I'm not sure why we lost contact with Omega, but I mean to find out. Let's be on our way. One moment everything was functioning perfectly, and the next it wasn't. It makes no sense. We need to see what happened for ourselves, and soon. The Far Edge of Fate. This is the very last main quest of Heavensward. After that, we reach Stormblood. Words can ill express how glad I am to see you all unharmed. When Omega came hurtling toward the cocoon, everything dissolved into chaos. I have to see it. I have to see it with my own eyes. Either wait, we must first... The Elder Seedseer is expecting us. Worry not, Elvino. Gosetsu and I will watch over her. You may safely attend your meeting. My thanks, Yagiri. The council reconvened a short while ago. Let us make haste for the Lotus Stand. All there are eager to hear your testimony. Another calamity averted, eh? How many times now have you and yours hauled us back from the brink? It would seem Garland's little friend was as good as his word. Had I not instructed you to throw Nero's accursed eyes into the abyss, all of this might have been avoided. I fought them beyond reach. My friends, full eager have we awaited your return. Few indeed could have discharged the duty entrusted to you, and most humbly do we thank you for seeing it done. You're too kind, Elder Seedseer. As I recall, we as good as demanded the right to try. But tell me, how did the battle unfold? We succeeded in waking Omega, aye, but we lost contact with the weapon shortly after it launched. From our position in the control room, we were blind to all that followed. What words can do justice to such a scene? None of my choosing, that much is certain. But I can give you the facts. The cocoon hatched even as Omega arrived, and from its midst rose a great dragon. The pair duly set about each other in the skies over Gearbanium. The primal's might defied belief. It seemed the very heavens could be rent asunder by the force of its blow, and it wielded such magic they have never seen, and hope never to see again. The battle raged on with no end in sight until both combatants were engulfed in a blinding flash of light. Then the radiance faded as saw the pair fall motionless from the sky, coming to rest somewhere on Alamegan soil. I will not speak for the rest, but to my eye it seemed that each had landed a fatal blow upon the other. While most among us could think only of Bahamut when looking upon the primal's form, the Domons were heard to whisper the name Shinryu. It would appear that the being resembles a creature of Far Eastern legend, and we have found it convenient to refer to it as such. This Shinryu's fate, and indeed that of Omega, is yet unknown. We have alas no eyes on the Gearbanian side of the border. Which is why we have sent our main force under the command of Marshal Terrapin to capture the wall. With the Imperials in disarray, we have a perfect opportunity to secure Gridania's border and assess the aftermath of the impact. I myself will join the Marshal and his men when the councils are adjourned. Well, that explains a few things. I'll wager that flash of light coincided with our loss of contact. Lest you wonder, we quickly re-engaged Omega's stasis system, so even if it has fallen into the Empire's lap, it will be of no use to them, save perhaps as a statue. Correct. Without me to guide their efforts, it would take them decades to decipher Omega's core functions, if they managed it at all. Such reassurances do much to calm our fears, yet the relic's fate is but one of several concerns. Indeed, I humbly submit that the time has come for us to make contact with the resistance representatives in Gearbanium. Though Ilbert has forced our hand, it would seem only logical to seek an alliance given the inevitability of Imperial retaliation. And by working in concert, it is not impossible that Alamigo might finally be wrestled from Garlemal's grasp. Let's try that. You must be exhausted. I would ordinarily suggest we retire directly to the Rising Stones, but I wonder if we might first make a small detour. Y'shtola and the others have gathered at Amarisse's spire, and I imagine that you too would be interested to see what has become of a wall now that Cocoon is gone. It's decided then. Lead on. It is there atop the spire. She has done naught but gaze silently at the wall for some time now. How thank the 12. After witnessing Omega's single-minded onslaught, I had visions of you being trapped between it and its target. Hardly the most rational concern I concede, but you had seen what I saw.
My friends, I cannot well express how glad I am to see you both unharmed. They say that Omega's clash with the Primal shook the very firmament.
You need not have worried. The battle took place far above the ground. We were able to observe in relative safety, though I'm given to understand that there were casualties on the far side of the wall.
Yeah, given that Shinryu seemed to use a tidal wave against Omega at the start. That is not surprising.
It was like watching a nightmare unfold before our very eyes. Ilbird's primal manifested in the form of a colossal dragon, a being of pure violence. It burst forth from the cocoon with such terrible force.
That such a horror should spring from the eyes of Nidhogg comes as no surprise. Nor do I wonder at its form. Ilberd all but announced it in the moments prior to his death. Plainly, it was his dying wish to visit a second calamity upon the Empire.
And I am quite certain the abomination would have obliged had it not found itself outmatched by a mega. Gods! I am no stranger to the works of Alag, but even I was unprepared for the machine's furiosity. It beggared belief.
And how fares poor Ida in the midst of all this? Have you spoken with her?
She's up on the platform, lost in thought. We deemed it best not to disturb her, but mayhap she would welcome some company after all. Shall we?
The light's gone. It was all we had left of him.
Ida.
I don't blame anyone. I knew what was going to happen. I knew the spell Papalimo meant to cast would drain away his life force. I knew that it would only buy us a little time.
Ida, there is no need to explain.
But there is. I can't hide in Papalimo's little shadow anymore, and I shouldn't hide behind my sister's mask. 20 years ago, on the day the Empire marched into Alamigo, I was still just a child, not even 5 summers old. My father had been one of the leaders of the revolution. He had fought to overthrow the Mad King, Theodoric. And my sister had fought alongside him. But she was strong and kind, and always knew what to do. But when the Garleans came, everything changed. My father went to war against them too. And I never saw him again. After that, I remember a lot of running. My sister dragged me for malms and malms until we came to the city of Sharlayan. That was where she met Master Louis Soir. He introduced her to the Circle of Knowing, and she eventually became an Archon.
She was your inspiration. Is that not why you took up her mask and her name? Or did you simply mean to continue what she had started?
You've known all along, haven't you? That I wasn't Ida.
Of course. We all recognized you at once. 'Twas Papalimo who persuaded us to maintain the charade.
It was silly to think I could fool you. I knew that even then, but I sort of decided not to know. Ida died 6 years ago, on a mission to smuggle refugees out of Alamigo.
They say she was overwhelmed by Imperial soldiers when she stayed behind to save a little girl. She was so strong. There must have been a lot of them.
No, I would feel this would be accusing, and I'm not accusing her.
I'm sorry for lying to you. My real name is Lise. When Papalimo brought me Ida's mask, it was meant as a keepsake, but I decided I wanted to be his new partner, to keep alive all the good that she had done. I didn't want to become Ida, exactly. At the time, though, I still didn't know who I was myself, and it almost seemed easier to play the role. Papalimo agreed to help, of course, but it was never what he wanted for me. He wanted me to walk my own path, and those were his final words to me. The Archon's mark he gave me is faded, and my last excuse along with it. So this is it. Whatever I choose to do from now on, I do as Lise. And I choose to continue my family's fight. I want Alamigo to be the country that Ida and my father always wanted it to be.
War is upon us once more.
Do you regret standing against the Empire? Would you have chosen a different road, knowing what you know now?
To claim that I never doubted the decision would be a lie. But I made my choice, and I have defended it with blade in hand ever since.
The battle continues, and our steel is needed. Come, Shadow Walker, we leave for the east, for Doma.
Next comes Stormblood, the second add-on to Final Fantasy XIV. While I very much enjoyed the original A Realm Reborn, Heavensward felt smoother. Let's just call it that. A Realm Reborn had a lot of filler quests, I feel. A lot of situations where you just did stuff for having something to do. That didn't happen again in Heavensward. It felt a lot more fluid in the storytelling. And from what I hear from other players, it only gets better from here on out. We will see. Make our own opinions, right? And in the background here currently just pictures of important story points and other stuff.